Hi, welcome again to the Economic Capsule under the voice of Heidie Calero. Today we're going to talk about the debt adjustment plan that the PROMESA Oversight Board has presented and submitted to the federal court, and which also will require the approval of the Puerto Rico legislature. It's important to understand the assumptions under which this plan has been prepared and which really can make or break this adjustment plan. Let's look at the highlights of this adjustment plan. As you can see here, the table indicates that the highlights include a reduction in Commonwealth liabilities from $35 billion to $12 billion. It tries to ensure that 74% of pensions will not be cut. That means that 26% of pensioners will receive a cut. It will reduce Puerto Rico's debt to sustainable levels, whatever that may be. It will restore $1.3 billion in public employee contributions to the Commonwealth Retirement Pension Fund. And it will attempt to reduce the overall debt levels by 47% to a total of more or less $38 billion. Well, in negotiating this debt, it's important to know what was assumed in terms of economic growth. Those assumptions are not realistic. The debt adjustment plan worked two sides of the fiscal imbalance equation, and it really relies on one critical question, that Puerto Rico's problems were really related to its fiscal mismanagement, and of course the excessive public debt was the evidence. Events have proven that that is not the real problem. The real problem is investment, lack of investment, and lack of economic growth. But let's go back to the two sides of the equation on the fiscal imbalance. On the one side, the goal was to reduce debt and to return access to financial markets, to reduce debt from $72 billion maybe to $38 billion, and debt service to 9% of fiscal revenues. This, of course, requires negotiations both with pensioners as well as bondholders, and this assumes further reductions in government spending and structural reforms that have proven to be politically unpalatable. Such reforms as the University of Puerto Rico, the municipalities, energy reform, labor requirements for nutritional assistance program, which now has been delayed by 2 years. And the other side of that equation was that reforms have not taken place. Instead, adverse consequences due to the change in financing, for instance, for the University of Puerto Rico, what they have really achieved is a drop in ranking of the university in international levels. A balanced budget, the plan assumes that structural reforms and Fed funds would come to rescue Puerto Rico. Well, events have shown us that it would not come either in the amounts or anytime soon. The second graph I want to show you is what has happened then with the federal funds that or disaster relief funds that the Oversight Board was assuming. They are budgeted for fiscal year 2019. They budgeted about $8 billion. Of those, the actual figure for fiscal year 2019 is almost $3 billion. So quite a substantial decline. It's not only that, but also Puerto Rico will not have the benefit of the 4% on foreign corporations on their exports that U.S. Treasury has indicated to Puerto Rico. We will no longer allow it to be credited against federal taxes of those companies. That continues, population continues to decline, and investment has not jump-started our economic growth. Finally, this third graph depicts that the economy has not yet turned the corner. Despite all these austerity measures that promise to solve some of our problems, really what we have seen from 2016 when the board started through 2018, we've seen a loss of 35,000 jobs from the private sector as well as the government sector. Finally, the lesson from all this is that without investment, without economic growth, it will be very difficult to have access to financial markets, and the debt service, whatever has been negotiated, will probably be in doubt, and we are headed for another debt default. The debt adjustment plan assumptions are not believable. Thank you.